The Calgary Police Service has charged a man with sexual assault following an incident at a school. On Wednesday, October 24th, 2012, police received a complaint of inappropriate touching alleged to have occurred the day before with a 7-year-old girl. On Wednesday, November 7th, 2012, following an investigation by the Calgary Police Service Child Abuse Unit, Chi Shing Tam, also known as Simon Tam, 62 years of age, of Calgary, was charged with 1 count each of sexual assault and sexual interference with a child under 16 years of age. He has been released on an appearance notice and is to appear in court on Wednesday, December 19th, 2012. The accused was a relief cleaner in the school where the incident occurred. The victim was a student in the school. Anybody with information on this incident or any other alleged sexual assault is asked to call police at 403-266-1234 or through Crime Stoppers anonymously. Take any questions you might have now.
How long have you been working in the school?
He was a relief cleaner, so he had been there for just a brief period of time. So I don't have the exact number of days. But.
Is there a possibility of other victims?
We're not aware at this point in time of any other victims, but we do encourage anybody with information on this sexual assault or any other to contact police.
Who filed the complaint?
We were notified by the Calgary Board of Education.
Do you believe it was just the one incident?
At this point in time, that's all the information that we have, is that we have a belief that there was just the one incident.
Had he worked in other schools?
As a relief cleaner, we believe he had been in other schools throughout the system.
Do you know for how long?
For years?
I don't have employment history, unfortunately.
Just CBE or Catholic as well, Calgary Catholic?
Again, I don't have that employment history in front of me.
So there is a chance, obviously, that if you worked in other schools, that there could be more cases up there.
Well, that's possible. We don't have anything to suggest that at this point in time. However, just like to take this opportunity to again reinforce that anybody with information on this or any other incident can call us.
So I'm presuming he's no longer working there?
Again, I can't speak to any employment history. However, I can say that the Calgary Police Service is not concerned for any further incidents such as this one.
Want to tell us what school it is?
We're not going to be releasing any information about the school at this time. The identity of the victim is paramount to us, and so we're not going to release anything that might even tend towards identifying that victim.
How is the victim doing?
I don't have an update on the victim. However, the victim seems to be doing well, in a very supportive environment, which helped her to be able to disclose this to her parents, who then reported it to the school.
How long after did she disclose it to her parents?
This was disclosed to her parents, I believe either the night of or the morning after, so soon after.
And it was just the one incident with this girl?
Yes.
Did it happen, you know, like was the girl on the way to a bathroom break? Did it happen during recess, or were there other students around? Was it isolated, just the two of them?
There was just the two of them. We don't have any other witnesses to this offense at this moment. It was in a relatively secluded place within the school.
Was there any sort of, sorry, I missed the beginning of the press conference, was there any sort of like luring type thing that he'd asked, like how did he get her?
The event occurred, again, in a secluded place within the school where they both happened to be. We don't believe that there was any other sort of luring behavior that got the girl into that place.
And sorry, was he a staff member of CBE or was he a contractor?
He was a relief cleaner, so I don't exactly know the the employment relationship.
Sorry, you said it was in a sort of a secluded part of the school where there were no other witnesses?
Yes.
But he didn't lure her there? Was it more, does it look like it was more just a crime of opportunity, the child that was alone would...
I would suggest at this point in time it does look like an opportunistic crime.
Is there any other concerns that he might have, any other history, like not just in the school system, but we check on if he might have any other involvement with kids?
Do you mean criminal involvement?
Yeah,
Or
there's criminal involvement?
well, we don't have any information whatsoever about any undetected criminal involvement at this point in time. He has no criminal history, or he has no criminal record.
Does he have any kids of his own?
We do not believe that he has any children that are under the age of majority.
Did it happen during school hours?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Can you say what time?
I don't have that with me at this point in time. It was definitely during school hours.
And how did this incident end? How did was the girl just sort of carry on her way, or did she?
Yeah, there was no attempts to unlawfully detain her. She was able to leave after the incident occurred.
Did she protest? Like, did she scream out for help, or like did anyone after the fact hear or come to the rescue or anything like that?
This is a very brief incident. We're not going to go into any of the details of the assault itself, but it was a relatively brief incident, and there was no other persons involved.
I know you can't speak to CBE's hiring practices, but isn't this a concern of the child abuse unit that you've got a relief worker who's in and out of schools for a couple of days at a time and now this charge?
Well, I certainly can't, I can't comment on hiring practices or anything like that, but these sort of events can sometimes occur with people who have no prior history, and so sometimes it can be very difficult to be able to gauge whether somebody has a propensity or not. So it's, as long as they've taken all the precautions that are reasonable, then you can never be entirely 100% sure that something won't happen in the future.
What do you say to freaked out parents out there who are wondering if this was their child's school, etc., and just generally concerned?
Well, what I would suggest is that for all parents, just listen to your children when they say, when they come home and talk about their day at school. If something seems out of the norm or if something seems alarming, then to really make sure that they listen to their children and that they follow up with any concerns with the school or with police as they seem necessary. But the big thing comes down to, for all parents, just talk to your kids, listen to them.
Do you expect they would release other schools' names that maybe you worked at, or that other incidents could have happened?
And that would be up to the CBE. I'm afraid I can't speak to that at this moment.
When you said that sometimes it's difficult to gauge a person's propensity towards preying on children because there is no criminal history, just anecdotally in the child abuse unit with, would you say that the bulk of people who are being charged don't have a criminal history?
I'd say that's probably correct. Anecdotally, anyway, very often, depending on the events, sometimes people have no prior history whatsoever before, at least with the criminal justice system, before being charged for the first time. Everybody has a first time, and sometimes that comes later in life.